let's get into this drawing of this guy. Show it to you again. This guy here. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and draw this dude. It'll be slightly stylized. It'll be in my style, so it'll be rough, which is going to lend to this look, I guess. Like, it's really cool because he's got like some pretty harsh lines on his face. So we'll see how we go. We'll dive into it and get going. Ugh, lost my desktop. I'm back. Also, guys, I know most of you guys are probably already following me, but I'm trying to hit a sub goal at the moment. I'm trying to get to affiliate, hopefully by the end of this month. So if you haven't already chucked a follow up, it'd be much appreciated if you do, especially if you like what you're seeing. It will encourage me to keep doing it. Not that I'm not going to do it anyway, but it's just added incentive. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, it keeps me going, I guess. So let's dive into this. Drawing our old homeless guy friend. Okay, let's start working on the structure of his face first. So he's going to be coming down through this way, through that way. I'm going to have an eye here. Draw another middle eye. And a slightly bigger eye because it's kind of closer. Get rid of that. Draw the circle for his nose. Kind of has a bumpy, cool nose. I like working on the nose pretty early on, because it is the center of the face, so a lot of focus will be on that part of the drawing. Draw a bit of an eye socket, then we can start to work on the actual shape of the outside shape of his face. This first run through is kind of a rough, I guess. I'm kind of focusing on structure. I'm trying to get like the feel of this guy's face down. Similar to the portrait drawing, oh not portrait, the figure drawing. Similar to that, where I'm just feeling out the drawing at first. Getting in some shadows, getting in some structure. Just seeing what this drawing's actually going to look like. Just building from there. So don't be afraid if you make mistakes in this little part, like this is a good time to make mistakes, because this layer may end up getting turned into a lighter layer, and we're going to redraw over the top of it. So yeah, don't be too worried about getting all the details into it. If it does turn out that you get a lot of the detail down and it looks really good, then yeah, it's going to be part of the main drawing, but don't be too worried about it straight away. So again, I can see already that I'm kind of messing up his hat line. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to try and draw the hat line, because I want to show a bit of his forehead, because that's where a lot of detail is in his forehead. He's got those harsh frown lines, I guess. Getting some of his eyebrows in. Don't be worried if you go too dark on some of this stuff. I'll come in and I'll work like lighter tones after it. Like getting your dark tones in first is pretty good. If you go overboard with the dark tones, it's fine. You can lighten them up afterwards when you're going through the detail stage. I'll probably like make my brush size a bit smaller when I go to the detail stage. For now I'm just getting rough shapes down, rough shadows. Starting to get the shadows happening. Fold lines up the top. You can be quite quick with these, just to get the feeling down. So he kind of has some harsh ones, and then he has some lighter ones as well. And then again, it's also how much detail you want to go into with the drawing. Howdy, Pocket. How's it going? Having a good night? So, there's not much of his mouth shown in this drawing, but in saying that, we're going to get the details for his mouth done through his mustache and beard. Yeah, Magic the Gathering, lol. That's awesome. That sounds like a good combination. Oh, and thank you. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully this will look really cool by the end of it. Like, the photo that I've got reference of, I really like the photo. It's just, I'm not even going to zombify this guy. I'm just going to draw him straight up. We'll try to draw him straight up, like, and he'll be stylized for how I stylize drawings, but yeah. See how we go. Hopefully we can turn something out that looks really good. It's always an important thing when you're doing any kind of drawing. Get a source that you're inspired by. Like if you see something that you're like, wow, that looks cool, I'm gonna draw that. It's always a good starting point. Like if you're actually genuinely interested in the subject matter, you're probably gonna have a good time. Just roughly getting things down. I'm not trying to finish the drawing straight away. We're trying to just get some detail in. Work on like crucial points of the image. And then we'll go and do the detail, the proper detail afterwards. Yeah, mandalas are awesome. I love mandalas. I actually got a random app on my phone where you can just color things, and one of my favorite things to color on that is mandalas. Like, spend hours just coloring in random mandalas. I get a little bit impatient with trying to draw that sort of subject matter. Like, I get a little bit, I want to move around the drawing pretty quick, and if I'm trying to draw those like really nice tight straight lines or even consistent lines, it's very difficult for me. I like to color them. They're a little bit easier to color. So his hat is going to be so much fun to draw because we got to try and make it look like almost like a fabric, but the only way I know how to do that is to basically do lots of little bumps and marks on the page. So you might be able to see it coming through now. Like, this is how I make things look like a bit of a fabric-y type thing. I'll do this and then I'll come back over top of it with like a darker color. Like, you can kind of just fudge things. Like, if you want, you just hint things like fabric and wool and things like that. You just draw little lines and little marks. Like, I think, like, if you were going to do fabric, you might do something more like, so you might turn around and you might go, okay, this is going to be my fabric. Like, you just do a little bit of cross hatching or whatever, and you're just continuously like working at it, like bit by bit, until it starts to look like something. Like, if this was on like a shirt or a collar or something, you just do what makes it look like it's gonna be a fabric sheet. And then especially if you like have like a let's just have a little quick play. So if we go along like this, if we just start marking it up, you go, okay, this is going to be my cottony type thing. You only have to put like little bits and pieces, and it starts to like get the basic idea of what you're trying to draw. Let's go back to the main drawing. Oh, no, okay, messing up. There we go, keep going. This little part's gonna take a little bit, but like, we can do it pretty quick. Because it can just be rough. Like, you don't even have to do it like super tight or anything like that. Like, I'll come back over top of this later with highlights to really try and like get that feel for cotton. We want a bumpy edge coming along here too. So if we draw like a few bumps and things like that, like bumps and little marks and bits and pieces of what really make interesting parts. Oh, thanks, Pocket. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff on that Instagram. Really into portraits at the moment, so I'm gonna try and do a couple more up there. Like, I've done a couple for friends of late, but I can't post them yet because they're gonna be birthday presents and gifts. So yeah, sorry if I'm shaking the camera, guys. This little stippling thing really gets the camera shaking. Okay, we could probably like get to about this point because the rest of it is dark. So we'll just do that little bit, and yeah, move on. Start putting some more details in. Yeah, Pocket. The latest one that I've done for a friend is of him and his grandparents, because they're very close, and they're over in New Zealand, so he can't always see them. And yeah, I think he's just gonna lose his mind a little bit when he sees it, because yeah, there's a pretty big backstory to him and his grandparents. They basically looked after him a lot, and almost close like his parents, really. It's roughly going to get his beard going. I think once I get these few rough lines in, I'm then going to move on. I'm going to put a bit of the black background in, just so that we're got a place to work into with the white lines, because the white lines are what are really going to make some of the details pop in this drawing. I might, actually what I'll do, now that I'm thinking about it, is I'll just go a bit more of a grey colour for this part, because I want to be able to see what's going on with his beard when we do that. Because if I put black in the background right now, with all the black lines, I'm going to lose most of his beard, so I pretty much just have to redraw it with white. If I've got a basic idea of where his beard's going to fall, then we're alright. I need to make him slightly smaller actually, because I'm not going to be able to get the whole beard in otherwise. A little bit more. And we can make some adjustments as well when we redraw this, because I'm noticing that his nose is a bit wider than what I've drawn it. And the way I've curved his beanie is a little bit off as well. But that's why we do the first initial drawing. So let's make a new layer. Put that underneath. We're going to go to full black. And we're going to start painting in the background. So I kind of made the same mistake, the mistake that I almost made with the beard, I made with the beanie. I've drawn the detail in the beanie in black, so now I can't really see it. So I'm not going to go all the way down onto it, but we'll keep going up here. And we'll start to draw in underneath here. You can see where the beard's falling, which is good. It's kind of what I needed to do. So his face is coming in a little bit at too much of an angle. I need to fix that a bit. But we're coming all the way up. We're going right far in because we're going to make a lot of the detail out of white. And then we'll draw back over top of it with black, and we'll just keep building it up from there. We're going to go right in. Right in, like we can redraw it. It's fine. So that's what we're doing. We're going from there, we're going here. Then what we might do is, I'm kind of happy with that layer. I'm happy with the eyes, because we're starting to get a bit of detail in there. So we might just continue working on that layer. Put a few more details in around this eye. Need to go smaller. He's kind of got these dark bags under his eyes. Put in a bit of shadow there. Bit of shadow under this one. Okay, so we need to erase a little bit of this. Not too much. Actually, we're just going to draw over top of that. Because what we can do is grab white. We can start to draw over top of it. You like the music pocket? Yeah. Noki was a bit of a fan of it as well. This is generally what I just chuck on when I'm drawing or gaming. I don't mind this stuff. I don't mind a bit of a hardcore and metal and new metal and stuff like that as well. So you'll probably hear a lot of that if you ever watch more of the stream. Okay, we're going to start to put in some detail of his hair and his beard. Hair and the beard can be very messy, like it's hair and beard. We're not going to get it perfect from the first pass, but we're just building up texture really. So we want to put like little curls and all that sort of thing. Little curls, little lines. Pretty much the same deal as the rest of the drawing. We're just doing little curls, little lines, little marks, building up things. Swapping back to black. We can start to build it up even more. Make it a bit smaller. Yeah, it's always good to have a bit of a mix. I honestly think when I switch over to play some games tonight, I might even put on maybe some Queen. I'm in a bit of a Queen mood. So I don't know how far I'm going to get with this one tonight, guys. Like, I'm going to try and push to get a lot more detail into it before I end it, but I really want to do this one justice. So I think what we might end up doing before we swap over is saving this off, and we might even come back to it on the next stream just to try and continue it. I want to really show you guys the whole process. And even like refining it afterwards. Like, we're going to do this pass, and then we're probably going to want to come back and refine it a bit and make it even tighter. Show must go on. Yeah, I'm just going to chug it on, and it's gonna go. Okay, we're getting a bit of detail in here. What I might do is, just to help me with that detail there, I'm going to put a bit of a darker shadow in behind it. And then we'll build that up as well, because that's got to come down a bit. So we need to work on the shape of his face, because some of it is not 100% correct. Did it bring me in there as well? It's not bad. We're really just working on the shapes at the moment still, like trying to get the shadows and the shape right, which can take a little bit of time. And also, I've kind of got him like looking off to the side when he should be looking directly at us, so I need to fix that up. Oh, wrong color. We're going to paint in these eyes. Very Raiden. And then we're going to draw it in so he's kind of looking directly at us. Bit better. Looks like he's looking at us. Okay, let's start working on some details. I mean, we've kind of been working on these details a lot, but other details. Let's put some shadows in. Shadows help a lot when you're doing a drawing. We're kind of coming in this way. We're gonna have a lot of shadow behind here. They're going in this way. That's where I'm going to struggle, because I've kind of been painting over top of it. I'm going to have to go back onto the other layer to put the rest of the shadow in. Build it up. It's a bit of a mixture of working between layers for this one. Can get a little bit messy, but it's alright. I do have a bit of a messy style. As a cyborg, yeah. That's an idea. I can always revisit him again, like once I actually get the final version done. I can come in afterwards and, you know, create another layer and build him up and try to make him cyborg looking. Building up these shadows a bit. Alright, let's go. Like I was saying, I need to make his nose wider, so out there. A little bit wider, that's good. Shoulder's a bit sore. Slowly building up the detail. There's going to be a lot of detail in this one, especially with all the hair that's on his face. So I'm putting this in dark at the moment, but around his mustache it's very light, like there's a lot of light hairs coming out. So first you want to build up the dark behind it, then you're going to come in over top and work in the light stuff. And then you might even have to go over it a couple of times just to get that texture going right. So now if we come in, we start adding a little bit of hair there. And because it's very textured, you want to go at different angles, because even like have some parts jutting out. Otherwise it won't look like hair. So guys, what I'm thinking for future art streams, like I want to continue to do the figure drawing. That's like a good thing to just constantly work on and constantly progress on. I definitely am going to keep doing portraits and things like that, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to start getting a little bit of involvement from some of the guys watching the stream. And what I'd like to do is get some suggestions from some of you guys. Yeah, so I think what I might start to do is get either characters or music artists that you guys wouldn't mind seeing me attempt to draw. I have done some music artists already on my Instagram. I've done Corey from Slipknot in one of his masks. I'm more than happy to have another go at him in a different mask. I've done Rob Zombie, I've done Marilyn Manson, a few guys like that. It's just because of the style of music that I like, but I'm more than interested in doing some iconic artists, I guess. So, you know, maybe like, I don't know, Lady Gaga or people like that. Like, so definitely open to suggestions, guys. May even do something special for people that either sub or make a donation. I might look at doing a piece personally for that person and actually getting it to them somehow, like a printed copy of it. What do you guys think? Does that sound like a good idea? We're starting to get a bit of texture coming into his beard now. So it takes a little while to build up, but as it starts to get more and more built up, it'll start to look more and more like it's got some structure to it. Yeah, Mercury. I think what I might do is I might set up, I don't know, I might set up some structure behind it before I start like asking people to donate or subscribe or whatever. I might like actually write some stuff out in my information under the stream and sort of say like some levels. So like, you know, I don't know, like for subscribers I might do like open it up to suggestions each month and randomly pick some winners out of it and draw something specifically for them, and then also get more like specific for anybody who, you know, is kind enough to do donations. Like depending on levels of donations, I might do something slightly more for them. Like if they're going, like if someone turns around and gives me a massive donation, then I'm like, okay, cool, I'll draw you a big piece and put some effort into it and make it personal. Like if you have loved ones that you want to get drawn or something like that. But then for smaller ones, like yeah, we'll do something for them as well. To show appreciation, because yeah, any kind of donations help me massively. So we're starting to get some detail into him. I think he's actually starting to look more like he's meant to look now, so that's good. I'm happy. I was a little bit worried at the start that I wasn't going to be able to get some detail into him that I wanted to get into him. But you just persevere, and it comes. So I'm thinking with this guy, I might keep pushing on with it until about 10:30, which is in a half an hour, so I'll give it another half an hour, and then I'll swap over and do some gaming. Like, actually got a pretty sore arm and shoulder tonight. Like, don't know what from, but anyway, I think that's probably going to be about as much as my arm and shoulder's going to handle, and then I can put it down on the table and actually start playing some games. Might give it a bit of a rest. But yeah, if at 10:30 we're not finished, which I don't think we will be because I really want to put lots of detail into this guy, we will pick it up again on the next art stream. It's looking like I'll be doing the art stream again on Thursday night. So it'll probably be very much the similar format as tonight. I'll start off with the figure drawing. Do that for around about an hour and do a little bit of a review, and then that sounds like that was has gotten louder. Just gonna check that. Just back that off a little bit. Alright, here we go. Yeah, so yeah, Thursday night, probably about the same time as what I came on tonight, so starting at about 8 o'clock. Doing the figure drawing first, and then we'll probably continue on with this dude actually, try and work to finish this guy off, get all the detail that we want to get into him on the picture. I think I'm also going to do a Friday night stream this week. That one will probably start a bit earlier. I'll probably come in at about 7. Again, start off with the figure drawing and then we'll go into actual artwork after that. Hopefully I finish this drawing up on Thursday night so that on Friday night I can start something different. Might even do a predetermined character, so yeah, I'll have a hunt around and draw something, a character that I like, have a go at doing it at least. So yeah, as you can see, repetition of line creates the texture. We're just using different weights and different amount of pressure on each thing just to really like show off what we're drawing. Just gonna put a little bit of bounce on his hat, a couple of highlights and things. I need to come into his forehead. There's a lot of details in his forehead that I need to work on as well. Like, basically there's a whole half of his face that needs a lot more detail. But yeah, I think we've still got a fair bit of time. If I'm finishing up at 10:30, we can probably knock out a fair amount of this, and then even on Thursday night, like I might just be putting in a few more little details, and we might even finish him really quick on Thursday night. So that might open up a bit of time for doing something else. Like I might even revisit some of the figure drawings that we've done and try and muck around with those and try and create some hero poses. Draw some characters out of that. Comic art or something like that. So don't always just want to draw one thing. I don't want to just do portraits all the time. Like I love drawing portraits. It's really fun. But, you know, it can get a bit repetitive if you guys are always just watching me draw faces and stuff like that. So we're just working on this fabric. We're just trying to make it look like fabric or cotton. Oh, it's not cotton, it's woolen beanie type material. But because it's very much in the shadow, I just need to work on the highlights and slight edges and things like that. work on making his beard look a little bit fuller down here. So luckily I've had a bit of experience with drawing big beards before, and I kind of developed a little bit of a technique for it with all these like squiggly lines and building up the texture with multiple passes on it. Again, I drew a portrait of a friend for his birthday, and he has a giant beard. Like, when I say giant, his one basically goes down to below his belly button. You can kind of wrap it up over his head and have like a hoodie made out of beard. But yeah, that was a fun one to do. They're very stressful when you're doing it for people that you actually know, because you know exactly what they look like, and you can really stress over making sure the details are 100% right, and you really don't want to let go of the drawing until you're 100% happy. Like, that one took me a very long time to draw. I think I spent a couple of sessions on it, like about 3 hours each session, like maybe 4 or 5 sessions I did on it, just working the details, working the texture, and making sure it was 100% exactly how I wanted it. But he was super happy with it when he saw it. Like, I think it's hanging up in his house at the moment. But I want to do another one for him, but this time I want to do one of him and his partner, because I haven't done one of her yet, and he also really wants another one done. But yeah, I want to include her in it and do a couple one. So what I might do, I think, to get a little bit more texture in this, like I'm sort of struggling with getting the texture in the beard. Like, it's getting there, but I need to put another level of, I guess, grey in it. So I need to grab a grey, sort of like a mid-tone, and that's really going to start to help give body to the beard, I guess, and the hair. Multiple levels of greys will probably lend to building the structure, I think. Might even put a little bit up in here, just for some extra detail. Draw a little bit into the hair. I think the hair needs to be a slightly darker grey. Yeah.
Raging demons that must be exorcised, bloodthirsty creatures that must be killed.
We can really build it up by doing this.
They possess men, women, and children and drive them to acts of unbelievable horror.
Then we might even come back over top of it again, like with some black and then some white and then a bit more black. We're just building up textures. We can also build up shadows, so like in certain sections there might be more shadow than others. So like through the middle here, there's a bit of shadow, so we might try and build up on the shadow in that section. And all you're doing to build up the shadow in that is literally just lots of random lines. So you still want to have the structure of the beard, but you also want to have some shadow over top. If you go too far, you can always take it back by coming back over it again. So we might add like a couple of little strands just around the edges there, just to keep it tied in. Okay, let's work on his face a little bit more. I feel like his face is getting neglected. It's not having the detail that it deserves. So his eyebrows are a little bit more wispy than what I've got it. So I'm just gonna do the same dark thing again, and then we're gonna come in with the light. Go back to dark. Just build up the texture the same way we did with the beard. Alright, let's get some detail in his folds in his forehead. So in this part, because it is quite a large seam in his forehead, I guess, we can really build up on that. Like Dom, yeah, it does look a little bit like Dom. Just add some fiery redness in there. Okay, just keep building up these frown lines or creases in the forehead. Add some more detail in here. Like, this is all just same sort of thing as the beard again. Like, we're just putting random lines, making details that hints of details, I guess, building up the structure of the face. If you go too far, come back at it with the lighter color and then build it back up again with the darker color. That's all it's doing, it's just additive and subtractive. Put dots in there. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. Thanks, Pocket. I'm glad you're liking it. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to build up a bit of an audience here. If I can reach people across the globe, that's even better. Yeah, it is more than just video game streams. Like, admittedly, like I play video games on here as well, but the main part of my stream is going to be this art. I'm focusing mostly on this art with a little bit of gaming as well. Okay, more detail around these eyes. Yeah, I guess that. Saw the granite mountaineer, thought it was either Nate or Carmen. Need to get some disc golf streaming on Twitch, man. some reviews on products or something like that. Yeah, that would have been cool actually, live camming it.
And here you can see the face of imminent regret.
Okay, so we're gonna try and... He's got like some sunspots and things like that. We're gonna build up on that. Actually need to put his eyebrow in on this side. That's what we're missing. It's a bit of detail. So we'll build that up now, doing that same method as we did before. Yeah, that would definitely add to the pressure if you knew that there was like a bunch of people watching you. What's going on? Thought it was on white. Add some more lines coming in through here. Try to get the shape of his forehead down. Add a little bit more hair through here as well, because it kind of like the side part of his hair here, near his sideburns, I guess. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I really do like that picture as well. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Make that a little bit more rounded there. Then come back over with some detail. So we're getting there, guys. Like, he's starting to come together. So we're coming up to the last 10 minutes of the art side of things. So we're just going to push this a little bit more. We're just going to continue putting in detail to see where we can get to, at least for tonight, with this character. Well, not character, this drawing. And leave it in a good place, essentially, for coming back to it on Thursday to finish it off. I think we have made some very decent progress on it though. Yeah, it's just beating it up, Nate. You just need to go over it and go over it and go over it. Put little marks and little bits and pieces just to make it look cooler and cooler. It's actually something that Todd McFarlane does, the original artist and creator for Spawn. Through watching his live stuff on Facebook, like he's a big one for just going over it and putting in little dots and little lines and making things that can look very plain look really, really cool. Many live views. We're averaging around about 5 during the art side of things. I got very lucky. I've only done a few streams so far. I think the maximum, like the first night that I started streaming, the maximum I got up to was 30 odd people at one point, which was pretty cool. I got a couple of raids from people, which helped out a lot. It was really good. But yeah, like we've been doing pretty good so far. Slow, just like going at a bit of a slower pace. Like, but I mean, it's only the beginning of my streaming days, so can't expect to be rocking the world straight away. We just keep going and build an audience and see where it goes. I want to put like a little bit of you can think of it that way. Like if I'm drawing, say, like a zombie character, I would definitely think of how they got it. Like, so say if the zombie's been in a fight with like somebody, like for instance, like in The Walking Dead or something like that, and like someone's hit them with an axe and hasn't hit them in a spot that takes out their brain or whatever. You want to think of where it got hit, how it got hit, like how deep it went, all that sort of thing. Like, it helps, like, to think of it that way. It, like, makes it a little bit more believable as well. Like, if we were going to draw like an old scar on this guy, we might like turn around and go, like, well, we'll just quickly make a new layer, but like you can build it up. So you might come in, start drawing it, come in like that, bring it out from his eye, follow the contours of his face, and you just slowly work at it. Like, old scars are a little bit more difficult because they've had a chance to heal. Fresh, like, splits and things like that, they're a little bit easier. But yeah, black and grey makes it a little bit harder as well, because you got to build up the texture, put a harsh line, and then work on it a bit more. But yeah, if we were going to put a scar on that guy, it'd be just basically building it up similar to that way, and just work at it really. Put more and more detail into it. Anyway, we'll keep pushing with this, keep putting in more and more detail, working on his bags under his eyes and the shadows and all that sort of thing. Speaking of shadows, I might go back to this layer and just add in a little bit more. He definitely needs a little bit more shadow on his face. He's a bit blotchy around the top here with his skin, so if I can try and do that with shadows, it'd be good. Dwarf, yeah. Gimli or something like that. I think Gimli's a little bit more well kept than this guy though. He's got his braids and everything. I think definitely going to have to revisit it on Thursday, because I'm just seeing there's a lot more detail that I want to get in there. Like there's some finer details, especially in all these wrinkles around his forehead. I haven't really captured all of them yet, and I'd really like to do some justice to that and get those details really in there and make it look really cool. But we got a few more minutes still, so we're not just gonna end it before we have a good crack at it. Let's put a couple of eyelashes off the bottom here. Some details that I need to put in. Put a little bit more shadow in his eyes as well. So he's kind of got like a lot of shadow build up in here. And then we want to round this off as well. Give him that shape of the eyeball. Same on this side, like he's got the shadow along there. Just to make it a little bit more believable. Yeah, I think the main thing on Twitch is being consistent. So like once a month would probably work, but you might want to think about doing it a little bit more regularly, just because like it doesn't have to be about every single competition or whatever, or like every league day, or like you could talk about league days. You could be like, oh, you know, results and who's looking good to take out the league, where people are standing and all that sort of thing. Like there's definitely content there that, you know, people could do it. It is a good place for a niche audience. It's all about like making sure that your description in your stream actually meets what you're doing. And that's how you're going to grab the audience. Like if someone who's randomly scrolling through, if somebody randomly clicks on and says, oh, you know, I'm going to look at disc golf, you'll find it. Like it doesn't have to just be about disc golf in Australia. You could talk about, you know, things that are happening in the States or even in Europe and all that sort of thing. Like, I don't even know if there's really anything on Twitch at the moment for disc golf. I haven't really looked for it. But, you know, it could be a market to open up. Or at least a platform to voice some stuff on. Yeah, Thailand for sure. Yeah, I saw that event actually. Like, I haven't watched it, but I heard about it and been seeing some news coming out of that. Alright guys, we've just clicked over to 9:30. Oh, not 9:30, 10:30. I'm a little bit behind. I'm going to save this off where we've got it at the moment. I will come back to it on Thursday. I'm just going to show you a little bit of a comparison of where we're at the moment as to what the actual photo looks like. Just so we can see what progress we've made and we can kind of assess what we need to address on Thursday when we come back to it. So we'll just pull this across. Okay, so you can kind of see that his head is slightly tilted down more in the photo. That's not so bad. It's something that we could fix up a little bit on Thursday. We might try to address it. I don't think we're gonna get it exactly the same angle, but we're gonna get close. We're getting the feeling. I like that we're getting the feeling. I think we can tighten it up a bit more. But yeah, like that's just through, you know, drawing things out. Like if we have a look, I'll just make well, what have I done? Okay, so if we have a look at, say, around his mouth, the lines are a bit thick still for his mustache and his beard, so we can probably work on that. Yeah, the nose needs to curve just a little, like not curve, but like point down a little bit better. And then it could probably work on like this shape here, on here. This is a focal point, and even this crease line, we can work on that a little bit more as well. Fix that up. That'll kind of make his face look like it's pulling down a little bit as well if we get that right. This shape I'm happy with, like around here. It's sort of coming through like that bony, like sucked in look. It's kind of working. I can probably put a little bit more shadow around there though. Like it's not so much hair, it's more shadow in there, so I can put shadow in there. I'd like to get, you can see in his forehead, yeah, it does have a slight smirk on it. Like that's easy enough to fix. Like that, that's just requires me to put a little bit more shadow to shape his mouth. Like I was saying before, that we're not going to be able to put detail in the mouth because you can't really see the mouth, but we can definitely do it with shadow. So that's something to look at on Thursday as well. And yeah, in his forehead, I want to make it a lot darker and put in a lot of these little crease lines and things like that. So in all, I think we're in a good spot. We've made a lot of progress. It's not super far off. Like it's not like, oh, you want to look at one and look at the other and go, nah, it's not that guy or whatever. But there is a bit of work to be done still. So Thursday we'll come back to it. We'll put in a bit more time into it and try to really fix it up. We might even angle the photo a little bit, or not the photo, angle the drawing a little bit, just to get this angle of his eyes. It's almost there, but yeah. And we really can darken up the shadow around his eyes as well to really make it a little bit more sinister looking, like the photo that's in here.